Hey everyone, FPS Chasley here. Welcome back to my tutorial series on how to play Dangerous Waters. Today we are going to be delving into target motion analysis, the TMA. But before we do that, I just want to introduce TMA and talk about it a little bit here. So TMA is all about reducing the number of possible solutions. Right now I got like a very basic TMA log going on here. I don't know what you want to call it. TMA lines of bearing history on a track here. So right now, as you can see, this is what the actual track is doing, but the only reason I know that is because I designed this map to show this off. But if I undo these things, this track can also fit a number of possible solutions here. It could also be, it could be closer like this, going a slower speed. What would the speed on this be? I don't know. I have it paused right now, so maybe I should unpause it. So it could be closer like this at a speed of like 3 knots. It could even be over here at a speed of 5 knots going, next to us. And the only way you can figure that out is by getting, you have to reduce the number of variables. So bearing is a variable that we always know. We have these 3 unknowns. So if you find out 2 of these unknowns, then you're golden. You have a solution. Because you got 1 equation and 1 unknown. The equation here is the TMA display. So if you got course and speed, you can find range. So yeah, if we only know the lines of bearing to the target, we have an infinite number of solutions, basically. But yeah, I'm not going to delve too much into this right now. I just wanted to show you what this starts off with here. Because before we really delve into this TMA tutorial, there's something else we got to do first, and that's waterfall. Alright, so waterfall. This is how you're going to figure out what a track is actually doing, what it's trending. Where's it going? So right now we got one track that we got from the beginning of the map coming up this way here. Yeah, this is a track that's supposed to be getting closer to us. And this isn't random. This will signify, what the track is doing. So our track is constant speed and course, so that's good. So looking at this here, we can see down here the signal strength is a little weaker. You generally don't want to use signal strength to judge this. It's only something that you can do if you know that the speed is constant. And even then, it's a crapshoot because, as sound goes through water, it like fluctuates and stuff. So you're mainly just going to want to be paying attention to the shape of this curve here. So this is for a track for constant course and speed. So as you can see, it starts out almost vertical, which means, it's almost on the same bearing. And if you have a track that's pretty much vertical, that's going to signify, distance. So from this assumption, you can assume that's pretty distant. You can approximate this really steep part down here as being almost straight, so that signifies it's distant. So as it gets closer, you can see that the bearing, the slope of this line starts getting shallower. It starts getting closer to horizontal, which means that it's getting really close because it's changing bearing pretty quickly. So this is what an approach looks like if a contact is coming towards you with constant course and speed. You got this right here. It's going to curve up like this. The way to call this is you're going to want to call this, this is concave with respect to the bottom of the waterfall. It's curving inwards, and so yeah, this is concave with respect to the bottom of the waterfall right here. So if a target is coming towards you, you're going to see this concave curve right here. It's similar to I like to call it similar to a cubic function, but I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but I'll get to that in a little bit. So let's look at a track that's heading away from us. Alright, so this is a track that is heading away from us. As you can see here, it starts out, pretty shallow, which means it's changing bearing a lot. This is when he was pretty close to us. And as he moves further away, it gets closer to vertical, which signifies the bearing isn't changing as much, which is something that when bearing isn't changing a lot, it's either one of 2 things. It's either distant or someone that's moving parallel with you. But for the most part, it's usually someone who's probably pretty distant. That's usually what you think of it as. So it's going from a shallow line to a steeper line, which means he's getting further away from us. This is convex with respect to the bottom of the waterfall display. Convex means it's bending towards the bottom, and then concave in the previous example means it's bending away from the bottom. So this is your example of a target that's heading away from you. Once again, it has constant speed. And there's acoustical conditions around here are pretty decent, so as you can see right here, there's a little drop off in signal strength. That's something you might be able to use, but once again, you just want to focus mainly on the shape of this. So this is bending towards the bottom. It's going from high bearing rate to low bearing rate. So this is a target that is heading away from us. Once again, it's a ship on constant course and speed, just to really show the basics of what you're going to be looking for in terms of trends on the waterfall. So now let's look at a track that is both that gets close to us and then starts heading away from us. Alright, so this is a target that is getting closer towards us and then heading away from us. So as you can see, we have both halves from the previous examples. This is a target coming close to us, concave with respect to the bottom of the waterfall. And then up here we got the trend of the target heading away from us, convex with respect to the bottom of the waterfall. So right in here, where this line kind of evens out here and looks very linear, this is the point of closest approach. This is when he got the closest to us. This is also known as the point of inflection if you're in mathematics or something. If you go into your graphing calculator and type, if you plot x cubed, you'll get a plot that looks similar to this, except it'll be mirrored. It'll be the other way. This is negative x cubed. Actually, no. No, it is, yeah. It depends on which kind of way you talk about negative, but whatever. So yeah, you got your point of inflection right here. This is when he goes the closest to us. So these are basic waterfall trends that are going to comprise every track you see in here. It's going to be some combination of these trends. It'll always be the same, except when a track has like course changes and speed changes, it's going to make it look different. But these basic 3 trends are what's always going to hold true in terms of analyzing waterfall display. Okay, so now let's look at the coming target. We're going to actually do solutions now. So I'm just restarting the map here. What we're going to do is we're going to mark him. I think I went over this in some tutorial, but it doesn't hurt to go over it again. You need to make sure there is a tracker on the contact, and it'll be designated by this letter A here. Each array has 4 trackers. The spherical is A through D, and I think the toad is well, I think then the conformal is E, F, G, H, and then the toad is I, J, K, L. Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, each array has 4 trackers. I think we have them on the conformal too. No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we're going. Once you start going a little fast, you lose the conformal, but enough about that. So we got them on the got a tracker on them right now. You need the tracker. The tracker is what continuously updates the target, gives you a new line of bearing every 2 minutes here. So I'm just gonna speed up time until we get a few lines of bearing here. And right now, I'm not considering this an advanced tutorial. I'm considering this an intro tutorial. So I'm just gonna focus only on the TMAing in this episode here. So we're not gonna worry about figuring out other stuff like speed and stuff like that, stuff that you need for later on. All right, let's see if we can get like 1 or 2 more lines here. All right, that's probably good right there. All right, so based on other means that I'll start getting into in later TMA tutorials. His speed is 10 knots, and that's the only thing I really know right now. I'm not sure what his course is, except for based on the fact of the trend of the sonar that I know he's coming towards me. So using that, we know he's on more or less this kind of course here. So let's just see what we can. We're just gonna do some manipulation here and see what we can get. Let's see here. So as you can see, these lines are starting to curve. Now, if you happen to be on the right solution, all these dots will be pretty much lined up in the middle of this right here. This is a plus or minus degrees of bearing, so some of these are off by about a degree or 2. You can find multiple solutions where those dots will line up, and that doesn't mean you have the right solution. It just means it's a possible solution. So what we're going to do is we just want to keep manipulating this until you get it into a place where all these lines are pretty much lined up, since we know like his speed right now. So as you can see, these are starting to like line up, but it's at angles here. You're going to want to twist the ruler at this point. Maybe move it a little closer. This is really like finicky because he's really close to me right now, so it's going to really be kind of touchy here. So let's see what we got right there. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks pretty good. That looks like a pretty good solution right there. So yeah, you want to look for this trend here. So if I were to, let's hold this course constant at this point. Okay, well let's pause. Let me unpause it then. When it's paused, it gets kind of finicky. Let's hold this 270 course. I'm going to pause it again. As we move this, you'll see that the dots will curve to the left and the right here. Sometimes if you move this back and forth, you can kind of see it here, it starts curving off to the side. So with other solutions that are maybe more distant, you're going to want to try and straighten this up. You're going to be moving your ruler along the lines of bearing to try and find out where the straight line is, because that's what you're going to want to look for. So like as you go back and forth, you may not get like the most perfect solution in terms of dots stacking up, but in terms of the recent dots which are at the top on the stack here, you want the lines to be like in the middle of like these two curves right there, and then that'll give you a pretty decent solution. So you know what, let's check it out here. What do we got? We got a range of 1500 yards, course 270, speed 10 knots. So let's go ahead and check this out here. So first of all, course of 269, there you go. And let's add a range circle. And he is 1500 yards away, so there you go. That's the solution for the target that was coming for us. Let's move on now to the target heading away from us. Alright, so once again, you're going to make sure you get a tracker on this. And let's speed up time here. So you can designate multiple contacts and still have them on your sonar, but if you keep going, if you keep designating, trackers will come off target. So you want to make sure your targets of interest have trackers on them. So if you're in an area like this, you got a merchantman and maybe like some subs and some surface ships. And by surface ships, I meant like warships. You want to make sure your trackers are on the warships and the subs that are of interest. Don't worry about the merchantmen too much. Maybe at first you just want to get, figure out what they're doing, because they're pretty much going to go constant course and speed. So you can do that at first and then take a tracker off them. Alright, so we got some pretty good TMA data on this guy at this point, probably. So let's go ahead and check it out here. So once again, he's still going 10 knots. Not too sure of course. So we're just going to set this to 10 knots. But the thing we are sure of is that he's heading away from us, based on this trend here, since it's convex with respect to the bottom of the waterfall here. So let's hold the speed constant, and let's just set it to away and see what we can get here. We got the first dot here. Let's manipulate the bottom of the ruler here. As you can see, it's kind of curving down here, so that signifies that it's not really the right range. So let's hold this bearing constant, and let's move this doodad along here a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, it's not really lining up any well, so we probably don't have the right course here. So let's try moving it down a little further, maybe this way here, and try curving it up this way. Let's see what we get down here. Okay, as you can see, we're not really getting a good course there either, so let's try moving it even further away. I don't think he's that far away, but just to illustrate this. So, as you can see, some of these dots down here aren't even lining up, so we know that's too far. So let's keep going back down this way. He's probably pretty close. Something like this. Let's manipulate this bearing here. This is gonna even get I might have to take it. Ooh. Okay, so it's not paused. If you have the bearing, if you have one of these locked in, it doesn't really like it if you manipulate it, so make sure it's unlocked here. Let me see where this... Right there. Let's move this up a little bit more here. I'm just going to keep the bearing frozen and just do it based on eyeball on the dot stack up there. So we'll get this like this, and let's just start manipulating this ruler here. Ooh, this one is being a little tricksy. Let us see here. The problem is that it's so close. It's just large variations in the solution are producing large discrepancies up here. So his course might be more like this. What have we here? Oh, hello. Okay, now we're starting to get something here. So yeah, if you don't know the course, besides the fact that he's generally heading away from you, you just have to spend time manipulating this thing. So let's hold this course here and see what happens when we push this up around. Okay, so it's curving down here. It's curving up here. So looks like we're getting a solution, right around here. This is a little tricky. Ooh, another dot just came in there. Very good. Okay, up like this. And right there, that's pretty good. Alright, let's check this out. We got a course of 057, speed of 10, range of 87, range of 8800. So what have we here? Course of 56. Check. And let's check the range here. We got 4.3. And that rule of thumb, remember, multiply this by 2000, you got 8600 yards, so there you go, there's your solution right there. That's pretty good. Now let's move on to the track that's coming towards us and then heading away. Alright, so here we're at the track for coming towards us and then heading away from us, so let's get a tracker on him and speed up time here. So this is the track from oops, why am I cracking my knuckles? This is the track from when I first started this video. You noticed that there was a pretty nice looking TMA display in there. This is that same track. This is a pretty easy solution. So this one will be obvious. On the other two, I kind of, when I set those up, I kind of just pointed them off in random directions, so I wasn't too sure what their course actually was, but this one I do know. But I'll show it off anyway. We'll figure it out here. So let's get some good time on this guy. I want to make sure I get the point of inflection and him heading off on the other side. All right, we just hit the 20-minute mark, and that's where you get one of the that's when data starts being cut off in the TMA here. So I'm just gonna set it to an hour. So we got our ruler. Speed is still 10 knots as previously determined. Is that gonna hold constant? Yeah, there you go. All right, so we know on this that it came towards us and headed away from us. So you know, it could be something like that. It could be something like this. But based on the data, it doesn't look like he went any oblique like that. None of this data is really lining up like that. So maybe he did go straight north with regards to us. Maybe he was even parallel. Let's check that out. Well, at 10 knots, that's not going to work out because we're going 10 knots too. That would mean he's basically right on top of us. So let's try the old north-south here. Just manipulate this till we get something that looks decent. So as you can see, I'm trying to make sure this data gets into a straight line here, and that's pretty good right there. There's some discrepancies in here. I'm not really sure why it's not too perfectly straight. It's probably just because he's so close. It's hard to really get this data lined up perfectly, because this is really this is really being rather finicky right now. As you can see, you're getting the curve back and forth. So you know, right here you're seeing it curve off to the right, then curve off to the left. So you're getting your good data, your good solutions like right around here in the middle. Let me just keep. Oh man, I had it close before. Now it's getting kind of. Let's see. Okay, let's try doing like this. Oh man. Okay, I think we're not going to get too much better than that right there. Let's see what we got here. So course is 000 is looking like in a range of about 3 nautical miles here. His bearing is 3-4, yeah. Okay, so let's check it out. So yeah, his course is indeed due north basically. And let's check out the range here. So they're saying the range is about 6,000 yards. So yeah, there's your solution for the guy that is coming towards and heading away. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next TMA tutorial where we will start doing more advanced TMA, which it's basically just going to be an advanced tutorial where it encompasses everything. We're going to be targeting, I'll probably do like some quick missions or something. We'll be targeting multiple tracks. We'll be getting data from all sensors, and we'll be using TMA to figure out their locations, and I'll be talking about all of it the whole time. So until then, see you guys later. Thanks for watching.